So I'm getting all these critiques, and it's all about my audio. And there was this one particular comment from a kid, and it was like, "You sound like you're older than a teenager, so you probably have money. Buy yourself a blue snowball." So I comment back, and then he goes back and forth with me. And it's this kid in North Carolina. He's like 14 or 15 years old. His name's MrBeast 6000.
Yeah.
And he had about 12,000 subs at the time.
Well, I guess we'll probably go ahead, and we've already started the podcast, Luke. But Luke,
Okay.
Luke Elliott, a.k.a. Gray Disciple.
Nice to meet everybody.
What's up, man? The big reveal, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you were saying this, and we were joking around, and today we're going to talk about YouTube. Like, that is the gist of the full episode. Like I was saying, I don't even know if I'm going to release this as a podcast episode because it's a far deviation from my typical insurance stuff, even though that's how we know each other. So just want a full disclosure, anybody that listens to this and is expecting insurance-related content, there will probably be almost zero, right?
Right, but
Unless you force it
in a later podcast,
Yeah.
we could talk about insurance.
Yeah,
because
because
I have done it for 20 years.
Yeah, and so I've done probably 16 now, and it's why we have the careers we have, so it's relevant to discuss. But you have a very interesting YouTube story to tell.
I do.
So I would love, I mean, like you said, you have this channel. A lot of people even knew what you looked like for the longest
That's
time.
right.
And then now we're going to talk about it. So start me at the very beginning, Luke.
Okay.
Tell me who you are first. Let's at least get a little of who you are.
What do you want to know?
Why you like really cool yellow polos.
Hey,
I don't know.
The shirt is nice.
Yeah.
It feels good. But
I complimented you when you walked in.
yes, you did.
I did, yeah.
Yes, you did. So I've been married for 22 years to a beautiful wife named Tammy. I got 2 kids, both teenagers. One of them can drive now.
Crazy.
Yes. Been doing insurance now for a little over 20 years. I do specialize in the individual health market, which is different. There's not many guys like me left.
No, you're probably about the only one that I know to ever refer
Right?
to. So
And
good on
like,
you, right?
Yeah, and when I talk to people and they're looking for insurance, they haven't talked to a guy like me in 3 years.
Yeah.
Obamacare really killed it, but I stayed in. I love it. I'm good at it. So, yeah. And then somewhere along the way, I started a YouTube channel.
Yeah, and that's what, I want to go way far into that because it's like, guy that's successful doing this business, right?
Mm-hmm.
What originally attracted you to this idea that I want a YouTube channel?
All right, we're gonna go pretty far back.
Okay, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Okay, so first, did you play video games as a kid?
So, yeah, I certainly did. We were talking about that off camera,
Uh-huh.
right? I'm not a gamer today, but my history was, we're the same age, right? So Nintendo, the
Okay.
original Nintendo, Duck
Yeah.
Hunt, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Yes, best game ever.
That was, the swim level where it was very
Yes.
hard to get past. Okay, so that was, I didn't stop there. I played a little in college with friends. We were big into Halo 1 when
Never
we were in
played Halo.
college. But that's where I literally haven't played a video game since then.
Were you Xbox, PlayStation?
I didn't have a skin in a dog in the fight, right, if you will. We played Halo on Xbox, but that's the only reason I ever played Xbox is because of Halo, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or what was it? GoldenEye? I think everybody played
GoldenEye,
that.
so yeah, that was which version of the Nintendo was that?
I never played GoldenEye,
Okay.
but I know everybody talks about
That
it as the
game was
first
sick.
first-person shooter.
Yeah, it was the first one. Yeah,
Okay.
because you had to get that golden gun. I think I remember where it made you. I don't know. Well, anyways, this is like 30 years ago in my
Right.
life, right? But that's that again. So that's really my connection to video games is decades ago for the most part.
So I was a gamer growing up.
Okay.
Loved it. I mean, I had a TurboGrafx 16, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1, 2, 3. My brother had the N64. I mean, I played games. I loved them. But after college, you get married, have some kids. I stopped gaming. And it wasn't until about 2010, we're living in a house. I think my daughter's 4,
Okay.
son's 2. And one of my neighbors is like, "Hey, man, do you play video games?" I'm like, I mean, I used to, but I don't do it anymore. I don't really have time. He's like, "Well, you should get an Xbox and get this game called Call of Duty." I'm like, "Okay, never heard of it." And I was
Yeah.
like, "All right, I'll get it." He's like, "Yeah, then we can play together." I'm like, "Play together?" I'm a 30-year-old man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to come over to your house and play video games. He's like, "No. You'll be at your house. I'll be at my house, and we'll play together." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
So you literally had no concept
No,
that there was
no
like
idea.
virtual or
Online gaming. I had
Yeah.
no idea. This is about 2010.
Okay.
And he's kind of explained it to me. He's like, yeah, you get your console and you connect it to Wi-Fi. I'm like, Wi-Fi? Like, what was Wi-Fi? Like, do I go to Walmart and buy Wi-Fi?
Yeah, like-
so we kind of figured
I'm
it
here
out.
to buy the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like I had to get a modem. I had the internet in my house. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But so we did it and we hook it all up and we join the consoles and immediately I'm
Were you
in love.
hooked? Yeah.
Man. So we're playing Call of Duty Black Ops, and there's like this section in the game. I think it was called Boot Camp. So we join in and we go into boot camp, and we think we're pretty good at the game, right? Like, yeah, I'm getting like 25 kills, dying 9 times. I mean, I'm feeling good. So, but he goes to work and he's telling his buddies like, "Hey man, we got this Call of Duty. We've been playing it, and we're doing pretty good." And he's telling them, he's like, "How are y'all doing this good?" He's like, "Well, we join up and we go into boot camp." They're like, "That's not Call of Duty. You're basically playing against the AI." So they told us how to actually go into online and play against other players.
Oh.
So we did, and we got annihilated.
Well, I was gonna say eye-opening moment. Like,
wow,
okay, yeah.
And we had 2 different styles of gaming at this point. So he was one of those guys that would constantly run out over and over and over, and he'd finish the game. He'd get like 6 kills and die 45 times. Me, on the other hand, we played domination, and I would capture the first flag and I'd go hide, and I'd finish the game like a 10-minute game. I'd have like 7 kills and 3 deaths. I mean, it was sad. It was really sad.
But your MO was to be the guy that just kind of stayed out of the way? Or
That's
what?
right.
Okay.
That's right.
Like
so we're doing this for like
we're
a
in
week.
insurance, we're risk averse, right?
Yeah,
that's part of what it is.
That's right.
Yeah.
I value my life.
Yeah.
So he's talking to his buddy, and I'm getting burnt out already. I'm like, I'm not really enjoying this. This is pretty stressful. And his buddy says, you can go onto YouTube and you can watch people play video games. I had never heard of YouTube at this point.
Okay.
We're probably at the end of 2010, beginning of 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I was aware. I looked back. There's some old, I was telling you I did stand-up. There's some old stand-up comedy videos that I believe I uploaded right around 2012.
Yeah.
But had no reason to do it other than I thought, well, I'm just supposed to upload these to YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be famous. And then I was like, I just loaded them and never thought about them again. Now they're all private because I don't want people to see them anymore.
You should publish.
No. Well, maybe one day when I'm untethered and don't have.
If everybody in the comment section says, hey, how about 50 people say upload it, you got to upload it now.
Okay. Well,
Maybe.
That's fair. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe with an edited version. But anyway, so not to steal your thunder, but the point was the parallel. That's all I knew about YouTube. I never watched it. I didn't know anything about it at that time either.
So now I'm on YouTube, which was a whole new world. And it was amazing. I'm watching people play video games. I never seen anything like it. And I mean, we're talking old channels here: Woody's Gamertag, Hutch, Z Nanners, XJaws. A lot of these guys aren't even around anymore. XJaws was the big one.
Okay.
So I start watching YouTube, and this is where my addiction either to YouTube or to Call of Duty came into play, because I wanted to be better. I was a competitive person. I wanted to be the best. I mean, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to spend my quality time. I'm going to be the best. So I start watching, and I start getting better. And I'm looking at their setups and the guns they use and how they rotate the map and the kill streaks they use, everything. And slowly but surely, I become very good at the game.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, slowly but surely. Okay, 6 months time frame. And I mean, how many hours a day would you be playing and or watching video?
4 to 5 hours a day.
4 to 5 hours. And when were you feeling like family, right? Kids.
Yeah.
When were you is this at night when the kids are in bed?
At night.
Okay.
I'm a night owl.
And
So-
Tammy's there like,
she
Luke's
hated
in the
it.
game
She
room
hated
again.
it.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't know I was watching YouTube.
Okay.
But she knew I was gaming. And, back then, I mean.
Would you have been embarrassed if she
Yes.
like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, imagine I'm in the living room. I got this 42-inch TV. I got a chair sitting up close to the TV. I've got this rinky-dink headset, and I'm like gaming. I'm talking to my friends. I mean, it's the dumbest looking thing ever. Now the setups are amazing. I mean, look, like this setup is amazing right here.
Right.
But now everybody's got monitors. They have these high-class headsets. I mean, everything's beautiful and streamlined. But back then, it looked ridiculous. Okay, it really did. So
Well, she would have been coming in like, who are you?
Yes.
Like, who did I marry?
But what's the flip side? I'm not going to the bars.
Yeah.
I'm
fair
not
enough,
going
man.
clubbing. I wasn't going to sporting events. I was just at home playing video games with some guys I never met in my life.
Yeah.
Right.
And yelling probably obscenities at them.
I
like
was
a
good
lot.
about
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
care. But I yelled, and
Yeah.
I would wake her up sometimes.
That's hilarious. Did your kids ever come in and dad, like, who are you yelling at, Dad? Like, what's going on?
Usually, I started playing whenever they were in bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you never accidentally woke them up by yelling?
No.
Okay, good. Okay.
But I was also on bottle duty at night, so if they woke up, I'd have to That was hard. Like I'd be in the middle of a game and I have to put my controller down to go feed the
Sorry,
kids.
guys, I gotta go feed the kids.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
probably got
gosh.
some razz in there.
I got a lot of stories on that one too. But
So all right. So you got really good though. Like so, it was
Really
kind of
good.
self-reinforcing. You're watching and getting better. You're playing. You're going back and watching, and so you become, I presume, pretty darn good at this game, right?
pretty amazing. Within 6 months, I'm awesome. Within a year, I'm one of the best that you would ever go up against in Call of Duty, just because I was putting in so much time.
Okay.
It's not a talent. It's repetition. It's pattern recognition. It's everything. So Black Ops 1 goes away. Here comes Modern Warfare 3. Now we're in 2011. This is when I started to realize, and we're going to veer off a little bit here, but I had a problem with gaming. Like I was getting addicted to gaming.
No kidding.
So during that year, believe it or not, I bought and sold my console 3 times because it was getting that bad.
Okay.
Like I was like, if I can't control this, I'm going to get rid of my console.
Yeah.
So I did. And I'd wait like 2 or 3 weeks. I get it back and right back into the addiction.
Yeah.
So I tried that a few times. Towards the end, I got a lot better at it. Still watching YouTube.
Yeah.
Now we got a bunch more gaming channels coming out. They were gameplay commentaries. So that's where they would splice their game. They would talk over it, talk about what they're doing, and maybe talk about some things in their life. Okay.
Oh, really? So they're
you start
literally
seeing
going
this revolution.
retroactively talking about this last gameplay. And,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So they would start off the video. Okay, so I'm running this setup. I'm using this character. These are my perks. This is my loadout. And then they would talk about the rotation for a little bit, and then they would just talk about real life.
Okay.
I loved it. So, I worked from home doing health insurance. So as I'm making calls, I'm watching YouTube videos. So in a given day, I'd probably watch 3 hours of YouTube videos as I'm calling people for health insurance. I get somebody on the phone, I hit pause, sell them a policy, unpause, watch the video. It's a good pattern,
That's
right?
a pretty ultimate multitask too, like
Yeah.
running a business while watching YouTube videos and being able
right.
to do both successfully.
So then comes, what was after Modern Warfare 3? Black Ops 2. Arguably the best Call of Duty game ever created.
Okay.
I mean, there's debates. I personally think it's the best one. It was the most balanced, brought in a lot of things. It was at the peak of Call of Duty, their popularity. I think it's still the #1 selling game for Call of Duty.
Is it really? No.
So I ended up playing that game for 3 or 4 years. And this is when I became elite in the game.
Okay.
Like if I was younger, I would have probably tried to go pro.
But what is elite? So what is elite? Was that top
Top 1,000
1,000 people
Yeah.
in the world?
in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was very good. Very good at the game.
Okay.
I mean, again, it's video games, so it's not really saying much, but I was very good. I had invested a lot of time.
Yeah.
And when we talk about time played in a game, I think in Black Ops 1, I had 20 days worth of play time. In Modern Warfare 3, 25. Black Ops 2, I probably had 70 to 80 days. By the end of it, because of how many accounts I had and how long I had played, at least 80 days.
80 full, so 80, 24
Full
hours.
days.
Yeah, so it's what,
Yeah.
so it's
Not
like
consecutively,
1,600
but
hours, 1,500 hours, something like that playing.
it was crazy.
Well, see, that almost sounds like I figured it was more than that. I mean, maybe there are some kids that are playing 8, 10 hours
Oh,
a day.
now
right? Yeah.
that's nothing compared
Okay,
to
I
what
was
kids do
gonna say, yeah,
today.
yeah.
I mean, my son has friends. I won't name names, but I mean, they wake up and they're on games till they go to bed. I mean, we're talking 10-hour days, and their parents let them do it. And I mean, you gotta teach your kids. Video games are here to stay.
Yeah.
And it's the parents' responsibility to teach their kids to do it responsibly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, 3 hours a day. That's what I tell my son. That's the most you're going to get in the summer, 3 hours a day. You want your 3 hours now or you want them in the evening? You choose, but that's all you're getting. And if you want more, you're going to have to earn it. Do something around the house, play your piano, read a book.
Yeah.
Do something, and I'll give you more playtime. So, because eventually they're going to go off, they're going to go to college.
They won't have the same oversight.
I don't know
right?
if you realize how many boys drop out of college because of video games.
Well, okay, so I believe you, and I'll tell you
It's
why.
a big problem. Go ahead.
So I was telling you back earlier, we had Halo was our game.
Uh-huh.
There was a year in college. It was a semester, actually, a spring semester. So soccer plays in the fall. Spring is where you kind of have you're not off, but you only have a few games, and it's mostly off-season training. So there was a month that we played Halo so much. One of my friends, I remember he drank 28 out of 30 days that month. We had a couple people that were skipping classes. One of my friends, won't say his name, but he knows exactly who he is. He got like a D- in creative writing because he never showed up to creative writing, and it was Halo. We got so far as we would, on weekends, take 2 TVs outside, tether them together, back to back, have a keg, 4v4 Halo outside. People be walking by like, what are you guys doing? We're like, shirtless, like in the sun, playing Halo for 8 hours and then going to the bars, that night.
That's right.
But to your point, right, that was, golly, that was like 15 years ago now, but that behavior, if you amplify that, I could see within a semester people would be done.
And the games are better now.
Yeah. They're probably so much more
they draw
engrossing.
you in.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And then with the auspices that, hey, if I get really good at this, I can make money on YouTube.
Yeah,
I don't
that
think
wasn't
so,
there
buddy.
when we were doing it.
Yeah, when we were doing it, it wasn't. But now everybody thinks they can do it.
Yeah.
And I can speak to that. I played so much, I had calluses burned into my thumbs, like permanent indents. And I even had a tendon in my right thumb started giving me problems because I was constantly putting pressure on the remote control.
I know exactly.
And then there's different ways to hold the remote, like claw, how Optic Scumpy did it. And I would practice these different positions to get better. But
well, I remember going to bed playing so much Halo that when I closed my eyes, that with that plus the scope, the red scope that when you're looking through, it would be so emblazoned into my mind's eye, if you will, that I saw that when I closed my eyes. I'm like, okay, I got a problem.
Well, Call of Duty, when somebody puts a UAV in the air, you know, it says UAV in the air, and you go outside and you see an airplane, and that would like be ringing in your ear.
Yeah.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
It's a bad sign. Or like when I'm out to eat with my wife and I'm thinking about rotations on a map on how to get a better score. I'm serious here, okay? So, okay.
Well, yeah, so I mean, I don't want to, we could deviate very far that direction, especially with the way that like things are going into virtual reality and all that stuff. But I know YouTube was what we wanted to ultimately talk about. So
we're getting there.
When did you start your channel? When did you realize I need to be on?
Okay, so I started getting the itch in Black Ops 2.
Okay.
Because I was really good. And it didn't matter if I played with my friends or if I played solo, I dominated. And I'm watching these guys on YouTube, and I'm like, I am so much better than you. I don't even need your help. Like, I could tell you what to do. And then people started asking me, how did I get so good? Like, just people in lobbies, and I would answer their questions and stuff. I'm like, man, I should make a video. But I was clueless, you know, with the technology. So Black Ops 2, then comes Ghost, then comes Advanced Warfare. Through Ghost and Advanced Warfare, they were downtimes for Call of Duty. I still play Black Ops 2, still watching YouTube videos. And then the announcement comes that Black Ops 3 is coming out. And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now. I have to go for this.
Yeah.
So it's about 6 months before Black Ops 3 comes out, I start talking to Tammy. And I'm like, hey, I've been thinking about this for a really long time. Now I have to convince her why this is going to be a good thing, okay?
Well, you were teasing me earlier about me having to ask my wife about doing stuff on the weekend, and here you are asking your wife to start a YouTube channel. So okay, we're on an even plane.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so how am I going to do this? So my name, Gray Disciple, it's a very original name on YouTube. That's my gamer tag.
How did you come up? What did it mean to you when you did that?
So this was a combination. So when you start on Xbox, they give you a gamer tag. So when I logged in, Xbox random gamer tag selected tallest bus. It's like, what in the world is the tallest?
I'll spit out my coffee, sorry.
Right? I was like, okay. And then I found out that you could change it. I was like, so what's it going to be? So my brother-in-law, he always wanted to be in the military. He wanted to be special forces. And I asked him, what would you want your call sign to be? He said, Gray Squirrel. I thought that was the greatest thing. And I was going to put that in. I was like, man, that's not fair to him.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Yeah.
But I liked Gray.
Okay.
And then I was discipling men at the time. I would meet with them at night. I would teach them about the Bible and God. And so that's where Gray Disciple came from. Nobody could ever say it properly. Everybody called me Gray Discipline or Decibel. I don't know why people can't, you know, disciple.
I mean, the DISC, right? That's a little like, that's tricky. But
yes, it is.
What about the gray part? The gray was just happened to be the color.
I liked gray. And plus, I was older. I was an older gamer. Everybody I'm playing against like 15, 16. I'm 30 now. Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
So when I approached my wife about YouTube, she's like, well, what's the point in it? And I'm like, well, I can show people that you can do gameplay commentaries and you can be clean. I didn't curse. I didn't talk about anything crass. I didn't insult people. Wasn't cruel. I would talk about the Bible sometimes. I did a series called Church for Gamers on Sunday. It was great.
Yeah,
got some traction and everything. So that was my.
Well, you found your niche, right? That was your lane.
That was going to be my niche in the whole thing.
Do I have to say niche or can I just say niche?
I think it sounds better.
You're pretentious, but that's fine. Keep going.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So I convinced her, and man, let me just tell you. So the simplicity of YouTube now. I mean, you can play a game, hit a button, it's on YouTube, right from your Xbox or your PlayStation.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Back then, it was not like this.
Okay.
I mean, you had to have a capture card, monitor. I had a separate laptop, had to buy a microphone, download all these programs to do it. I mean, my first video, and this was in November 12th of 2015 was my very first video. And you can go to my channel and just like flip the upload date and see it. Ooh, buddy.
Was it bad?
Oh my gosh. So I mean, you walk into my office and there are wires everywhere. I mean, it's ridiculous when I think about it now. It took me, I think, 5 hours to make my first video. 5 hours. And I mean, I'm like typing over here and I'm coming back over here and I mean, it was crazy. So, so you capture the video, you upload it. I used a video pad editor for the editing of the video, which was a big learning experience. I had a guy who, a good friend of mine who makes music. And I asked him if he had anything on file that I could put in the background of the video. And it's like this guitar solo. It's real soft.
Yeah.
I had a kid in, I think, Michigan, never met him, made my first thumbnail. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. It's come to find out, it takes like 2 minutes to make a thumbnail. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then there was a kid I paid, I think, $5 in the United Kingdom to make my intro. And little did I know, I mean, he probably took him 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I put up my first video and man, is it corny.
Is it?
It's so corny. It's like, I'm whispering, I'm like, hey, you guys, it's Great Disciple. I want to welcome you to my channel.
You're
I'm
doing
just
like the easy
oh
listening
gosh.
radio voice.
I know,
Yeah.
because that's what everybody does.
Oh, is it?
They think like they're going to be judged.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I put up my first video and I'm like, yes, I'm so proud of myself. It took me 5 hours. I've been thinking about this.
How long was it? 5 5 hours of production? How long is the video?
8-minute video. 8-minute video. It's an awful video. And I mean, I was really proud of myself and I'm like, I'm telling everybody about it. And I think I got 12 views. I was shocked.
You shocked that much?
That's it.
That's it.
Because 3 or 4 of them were me looking at my video.
Like, keep watching
and
it
I
over
like
and over again.
I sent it to my family members, my friends. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody cared.
Well, so 2 points that I'll make, and you're farther along than I am. It's like, one, you have to just do the first one.
You have to do it.
to start.
Yes.
And 2, it's a good thing probably that nobody watches your first video because it's probably going to suck, right?
Yes.
So you got to produce a lot of videos to even get people to want to watch it, but you also want them to be decent, and you can't be decent unless you've done it a number of times, right?
Yeah. And so I took the mentality of health insurance. I grind. You grind, I grind, make a lot of calls. The most successful people are going to make the most calls. It's just a numbers game. And so I started thinking about it. I was like, nobody watched my first video. It's a numbers game. Let's see how many videos I can make. So my second video was much faster.
Got better.
It was better. I was more confident. I was more forceful, but my audio was really bad. Really, I could not figure out my audio. I mean, I'm using Audacity. I've watched the tutorials on how to do it, how to compress my voice, bass, treble, balance, everything. Like I've watched so many tutorials on YouTube, which is the best thing about YouTube. If you ever have a question, you can put it in and there is a video of somebody doing it. So I'm playing with it and I'm still not getting traction. I think my videos are pretty good. I think they're better than a lot of the ones I'm seeing online. I'm about 10 videos in and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do to get my channel out there? I'm starting to realize that there are so many channels and everybody's posting the same stuff.
Okay.
So there was this YouTuber I had watched for a really long time. His name was 402 Thunder. He's still around. He's not very good at the game, but he was one of the first.
Okay.
And when you start listening to a guy, you get accustomed to his voice. You get excited to hear what they have to say. So lo and behold, I had just watched him for years. And he developed a community channel.
Okay.
These were pretty popular back then where smaller content creators could make a video and upload it on their channel. Okay. Well, you would send it to them and then maybe they would select you. And I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
I got a really good gameplay. I had a really good subject to talk about, put it together, sent it in, said a prayer, and that was it. I didn't think that he would take it. 4 days later, it's up.
Oh, cool.
On his channel. And that's where my channel really started to get some traction. But on this channel, it's all content creators. So we critique each other's work. So everybody's like, oh, you got great
like
gameplay.
a mastermind or something. Yeah.
And it's good because you need this. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. You ever heard that before?
Yes.
Okay.
From you, actually, but yeah.
Oh, all right. Very good. And so I'm getting all these critiques, and it's all about my audio. Audio. And there was this one particular comment from a kid, and it was like, you sound like you're older than a teenager, so you probably have money. Buy yourself a blue snowball. That's what it was called. It was a snowball or a Yeti, something like that. And I'm like, I have one. Like, I'm using it.
Yeah.
So I comment back, and then he goes back and forth with me. And it's this kid in North Carolina. He's like 14 or 15 years old. His name's MrBeast 6000.
Yeah.
And he had about 12,000 subs at the time.
Okay.
And so he starts commenting on my videos, kind of guiding me through it. So I take my laptop over to the side, and I go back. I remember the day. I went into my son's room so I could have it nice and quiet. I put my laptop on his bed. I had the blue Yeti. Or blue snowball. I'm sitting on the ground, and I'm talking into it, trying to figure out what am I doing wrong here.
Right.
I'm playing with it. You want to know how stupid I am? You
Well,
want to know how
I want to
bad
know what was wrong. Like I'm sure you're about to reveal.
Yeah. Okay. So on the platform, the screen up at the top, it says audio input. I never hit the drop down and selected the microphone, Blue Snowball.
Oh, so you were recording on your laptop then?
Yeah, the laptop microphone. It sounded like I was in the back of the room in a closet. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Great Disciple.
Well, I have a funny parallel to that, and these guys will get a laugh because I think one of them did it. My very first podcast, we shot in the podcast studio. I'm so excited. My very first episode, shot on the cameras, get done. They sent it to me. I'm like, the audio sounds like crap. Like, what's wrong? They forgot to hit the soundboard. So it was the iPhones recording the audio. I'm like, wait, this is what I'm paying for? I could do this. And so anyways, it was good because my first guest wanted to come back anyways. He's like, I didn't really like what I said. So it was like that hiccup.
Yeah.
But you could tell there's a huge difference. A massive, it was
oh
almost
my
like
gosh.
night and day. But it is that little thing, right?
Yes.
That can make a huge difference in your audience and being able to listen to it and sit there and want to listen to it because it sounds good.
And then the confidence grew.
Yeah.
So I immediately made another video. It was a thank you video to Thunder, and the audio sounded great. I mean, and that's where my channel really started to gain some traction. But it was at that point that MrBeast was my go-to. MrBeast 6,000 back then.
So he was 6,000 before dropping that at some point. Okay.
I can't remember why he dropped it. I think once he hit 6,000 subs, he dropped it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I lost my thought there.
Yeah, so once so MrBeast was commenting on your videos, your audio was good, and did he come into the fold, or you were communicating with him often during that time? Okay.
Yeah, and somewhere in that mix is where I opened up my Twitter account. I didn't even know what Twitter was. I did, and so we started communicating through Twitter at that point. But yeah, so we kind of created a little bit of a friendship, and he would watch my videos and comment on them and give me some critiques.
Okay.
And, and I'm still uploading. Now I'm getting serious in my uploads. Now it's almost a daily upload. I mean, just so you know, in the first year of being on YouTube, I uploaded over 650 videos. I mean, I approached this as a...
My goodness.
Yeah, I know.
So averaging almost 2 a day, basically.
Pretty much, yeah, because I would do compilation videos of my, like I would get a bunch of gameplay and I would take the best clips and I would put those together and I would throw those up like real fast videos.
Yeah.
Almost like YouTube Shorts now. I was doing shorts before there were even shorts.
Well, I admire your obsession, right? Because it's like you want to get good at it. Like how else to do it as fast as possible is do as many of them as you can.
Well, and then remember, I'm sitting in my house at my desk making insurance calls. I can edit a video while I'm making calls.
Yeah.
That's how good I got. I could do it mindlessly.
Right.
And then as for commentary, I mean, I like to talk. That's what I do for a living. That's what you do for a living. We can talk.
Why do I have a podcast? Because I like to talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Drive my wife crazy.
Yeah.
But so I'm uploading videos. I start talking back and forth with MrBeast. Eventually we start talking on the phone, and he's still a small channel. He's got like 15,000 subs at this point, and that's when he starts talking to me about how gaming's dead. I'm like, gaming's not dead.
What year would this have been roughly?
We're probably in 2016 at this point. Yeah,
was
we're at the
he
beginning.
making gaming videos at the time?
No,
what was
he had
his
stopped.
shtick?
He had stopped, and it wasn't even that long before that he stopped. He was like a Minecraft channel. He would do some Call of Duty, but I remember he was like, "Come take a look at my channel." So I went over there and I looked at it. He's like, "Here's my #1 video." It was how much money is PewDiePie worth, or does he make? And he was estimating about $750,000 a year at that time. And that video, no wait, he had 750,000 views on that video.
Okay.
And that was his big video. And he was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do from here. And he started making other videos about how much YouTubers make. They started doing well, but every time he posted a gaming video, it didn't get that much traction. So that's when he started talking about and making videos about how online gaming, like YouTube, is dying.
Okay.
And he would tell me constantly, he's like, don't do gameplay commentaries. Well, I was like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, video of yourself and just talk about anything. I'm like, come on, dude.
I know you, and you've been telling me that too. And that seems like, somebody that's like, I've got a podcast, I've got a theme, right? Or if I make a video, it's about a subject. The idea of just going, I'm just going to talk.
That's what he did.
Terrifying.
He made videos of nothing.
Yeah.
And that was his shtick, was they were just about nothing. Like he would drop something. And it was the corniest stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, but he was getting views.
Yeah.
And of course, I at that time, you know, I'm married. I got 2 little ones at home. I got a business. I'm trying to protect my image at work. Nobody really knew who I was online. They didn't know that I even had a YouTube channel. Even though I had told my family about it, I had told some of my friends. Everybody forgot who I was.
Yeah.
They didn't go online and look at my stuff. They never did.
Yeah.
No matter how big I got. And then to this day, people are shocked when I say that I used to do YouTube.
Yeah.
And now everybody's going to know. So.
Now everybody's sorry, man.
Now
You catch that? The anonymity is gone. At least 100 people will know who you are. Yeah,
maybe.
If I'm lucky.
Well, I'll put it on my channel.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. So a few thousand people will know. There are tens of thousands, right? You got. What was your? I don't want to fast forward too much.
It peaked at 150.
150,000 subs. That's amazing.
But so he kept telling me to show myself, and I couldn't do it. And I was like, I have grown up. For the last 6 years, I have watched nothing but gameplay commentaries and dreamed about doing this. And now I'm finally doing it, and you're telling me not to.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't, man. I gotta at least give it a go. I gotta see if I can do this.
Yeah.
Make thumbnails, get the gameplay, talk about it, post them, see if I can get some traction.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm curious. I want you to speculate. Was he right that gaming commentary was dead, or was he right that it was dead for him?
The style that I was doing,
okay,
where you don't show your face and you do a gameplay and you just talk about it, that was dying.
Okay.
Because the ones who really made it, like you had Preston Plays, Woody's Gamer Tag, and there were a couple other ones, iTemp, they were starting to show their face.
Okay.
So you would see their face over the gameplay. Ninja's the one who really took that to the next level with Fortnite on his uploads. He would rip right from his stream. And now if you go online and you watch gameplays, you're going to see the person's face as they're playing, which really, the technology was there when I was doing it, but it was so complex because you had to use OBS.
I don't even know what that is.
I know.
Okay.
And it was a lot, man. And my old man brain and fingers with electronics, I couldn't do it.
Well, let me speculate maybe from my perspective as a non-gamer why that maybe worked. I told you I like really heavy metal, like really kind of extreme heavy metal. And when you listen to it, you go, man, like you can't even imagine human beings sometimes making some of these sounds. But then I've seen in concert, you see the vocalist who's making these really sort of guttural, like whatever sounds. You see the human do it. You connect with it a little bit more because you realize, oh, that's a human being making those sounds, writing those lyrics. I even pick up more of what they're saying because I can actually see their mouth move.
Right.
So there's something about actually watching the band play those songs that makes it infinitely more connectable. So I'm wondering if that's the same thing. It's like, yeah, I'm listening to this guy's voice do gaming, but what if I saw his face? What if I watched his expression? You know, maybe that's why that started to pick up. That's just me speculating.
Well, later on in YouTube, I realized that eyes were everything.
Okay.
It's all about the eyes. Okay. And even on your thumbnail, the most important thing you can have on a thumbnail is eyes. You got to have them. Okay. And so we'll go a little bit further. I did have a couple of videos do well.
Okay.
My first one.
What would well have been? What would that?
12,000 views.
Okay.
That was pretty good with the channel with like 300 or 400 subs. I did a video about my first girlfriend being rejected by a girl, that kind of thing. It did really well. It's still on there. I love watching the video. I think it's hilarious. Yeah. And so we keep going. I keep growing. You know, I'm getting some traction here and there. I'm a video a day now, but his channel starts to pick up. Right. I think it was June of 2016. He posted a video called Worst Intros on YouTube. This was it. This was his series that catapulted his channel. Not right away, though.
Okay.
And there was a big lesson in this, too.
Okay.
So he posted the worst intros, and it got some good traction. So he decided to do it every week. And but then he started to see that those were the only videos that did well. Nobody wanted to see anything else. So we put him in a playlist. If you guys are starting a YouTube channel, playlists are everything. Okay. Because if you hit a video in your playlist will be automatically recommended to the person. This is an algorithm thing.
Okay.
And so once his worst intros took off, all of them took off. I mean, we're talking like one video hit 20 million. They all hit 20 million.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Like really took off.
But this was still later on. Okay. Yeah. But it was in June of 2016, he did that first one. And I think, you know, I actually, you know, when I was coming to do this podcast, I did some research to go back and look at dates. I think he's taken down a lot of his videos, his old stuff. But he was still making all these weird ones, and I was doing the gameplay commentary. What were we gonna ask?
No,
me
I was gonna
something?
say we're like you guys were in communication regularly still at this
Yeah.
point, right? So like
He was like my guide.
I was
mean,
gonna
he's
say,
a
is he your mentor,
15-year-old
right? Like
kid.
15. Dude, if I had a mentor right now about Instagram or something, I'm sure it'd be a 15-year-old kid.
Probably.
Right? Like, you know, so I totally get it. But how did y'all develop this like rapport? What was it about y'all's connection that you worked well together, communicated
Christian. We were both Christian.
Oh, okay, cool.
He denies it now. We'll talk about that later. But at the time, I kind of was mentoring him because he didn't have a dad at home.
Okay.
He's a homeschool kid. I think all this stuff is revealed, so I don't think I'm revealing anything inappropriate here. But
I don't know.
I know he has an illness. I can't remember if it was ulcerative colitis, but he's talked about that before. And so that's what, caused him to be homeschooled. And so he would just sit at home and make videos. And there was this one turning point, and I know he's done videos about his YouTube success, like where it all began, how he almost burnt out and things like that. I've never watched one of them. I don't really watch any of his content now. I haven't watched a video of his in probably 5 years, but and nothing against him. I just don't really
I
like it.
I've seen some of his videos. Like when you said MrBeast, I'm like, I clearly knew who that was,
Everybody
but
knows
it's
who he
not.
is.
It's not like I'm a fan either, and which is a weird thing to say
I
considering
know.
I'm on YouTube and he's
He's
got
the
100
number one
million
YouTuber.
subscribers. But I like his content probably isn't mostly done for
We're
me.
older.
We're old men.
His,
dude. That's
but
the problem.
he was brilliant in what he did, and he's an amazing guy in real life. I just want everybody to know this.
Yeah.
So, where was I at? So, okay. So I remember. I don't know if it was in one of his videos or if it was in a statement that he put on Twitter, but he talked about how he was getting tired of YouTube. He was thinking about stopping, and so I messaged him. I was like, "What's going on?" And then we talked on the phone, and he kind of just told me about it. How he's not getting any traction. He's making like I think $400 a month on YouTube, which isn't bad. And I was like, well, look at it this way. Would you rather be in your house making videos every day, make $400, or do you want to go work at McDonald's and flip burgers for $400? And he thought about it for a little bit. And I remember he posted something on Twitter. It's like, I just got the best advice I've ever heard in my life. I'm going back to YouTube, that kind of thing. So then he really hit it. And I have nothing to do with MrBeast's success, but I remember that. That was a turning point for him. And so then he started doing the YouTube intros, and I started talking about, well, if that's doing so well, do YouTube outros. And have you ever watched one of these videos?
No.
Dude, back then, so these like 8-year-old kids would make intros on YouTube, and they would write stuff on paper, like their channel, and they would like spin it with their cell phone and be like, boo, woo, woo, woo. Stuff like, it was hilarious.
That's
so funny. Okay. And then he would splice himself in and out talking about them. They were great videos. And then, so he messed around with that. And I remember he did some like worst thumbnails on YouTube. Okay, so he's doing his thing, and his channel's kind of growing, and I get so focused on my channel, we kind of lose touch. But if I have a question, I'll message him and stuff like that. And I remember one day I checked his channel, and all of a sudden he's at 25,000 subs. It's like, wow. Send him a message, congratulations. Then 50. I mean, he hit 50 in a month. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what in the world's going on? And then 100. I mean, this is like leaps and bounds.
Yeah,
like
just exponential.
Boom, boom. And this is something I learned as well later on. I mean, when YouTube likes your content, they will push your content.
Okay.
And once you really figure out how to do your titles and your descriptions and your keywords, and you link them properly, the whole goal of YouTube is to get into the recommended.
Okay.
You get into the recommended, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to get a lot of traction. If you can't get into recommended, I mean, there are people who post videos every day, and after somebody's done watching their video, their next video isn't even recommended. I mean, that's what you need. You need not only for your videos to be recommended on other channels, but on your own channel as well. And he got it.
Okay. So and that all this stuff, and I know we could go into like hyper technical stuff.
Yeah.
We'll save that for lunch afterwards or something like
Yeah.
that, and you can give me all the secret sauce. But so I realized like there's a lot of stuff that play into it. But did you talk to him about like was there a thing that it all just came together one day, or what was the thing that got it to be exponential in growth?
For him,
Yeah.
it was his originality.
Okay.
Nobody was doing what he was doing.
Okay.
That's what he said. Just film yourself, talk about nothing. He was younger, and he seemed to target a younger audience as well, which was brilliant. He was targeting the little kids.
Okay.
I mean, that sounded really bad, but
Yeah,
like 9 to
I get it,
12-year-olds
I
on
get it,
YouTube. That's who drives his channel now.
Okay.
His content is so ridiculous that you'd almost have to be
It's like-
immature to believe it.
It's like Blippi, right? You know,
Yeah.
like my daughter used to watch Blippi, and I don't have anything against Blippi, but I watch
Wait,
it.
is
and
Blippi like a kid show? Like
and it's like
the Teletubbies?
he's the one that wears like the glasses and has the hat. And you probably never seen it because you missed that window.
Yeah.
But it is so cringe.
It's mind numbing.
And it's like, but it's like, oh, his audience is 2 to 4 year olds. Okay, well,
Yeah.
clearly I don't get it. And I'm like, what is wrong with this person? Like, what is he doing? But that guy, I think he sold his Blippy character for tens of millions. I mean, it's insane.
It's crazy.
So anyways, to your point, right? Like if that's your audience, well, you have to tailor the content to that particular audience.
He has a very peculiar personality as well. Even to this day, it's peculiar. It's like he's not a great orator of words. He's not hilarious. He's super successful at what he does. He's just got a very original aura to him.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it hit. And when it hit, I mean, I figured he was going to do well, and his channel started growing, and it was going great. I had no idea it was going to go like this.
Well, it randomly popped up in my feed. His video where he posted 5 years in advance. He scheduled it for 5 years and is like, I hope I'm at 1 million subs. And I think it came out in like 2020.
Yes.
And I don't remember what the number is. I think somebody said he was like 40 times that in 2020, something to that effect. But I was just watching him like, wait, that's what MrBeast looked like? Because I had no context for what happened prior to now. He became on my radar when he became the big MrBeast, and I'm going, oh, well, that's what he was doing 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's also fascinating to hear retrospectively. Like he was on Rogan a couple months ago, Joe Rogan's podcast,
which was great. I did not watch it.
You didn't watch it?
It's something about it, man. Like it reminds me of my YouTube days, and there's like a wall there now, and
you shut it down.
It's like it's hard for me.
Okay, well, but
I still talk to some YouTubers.
He talked about it, and he's talking about like his willingness to just go completely 100% in on this idea. Like even sitting in his car when he was going to college, his mom thinks he's going to college, and he's sitting in his car thinking about YouTube videos and stuff like that.
So what happens?
It became the only thing he cared about, and fortunately for him, I'm sure there's 10,000 people that have done the same thing and have nowhere near the level of success.
Nowhere near.
But you almost kind of have to do that. It's
You
like
do.
anything. If you want to be the absolute elite at something, you have to do it to such an obsessive level that everybody thinks you're almost crazy.
And that's why I saw so many YouTube channels fail. There's a difference between a successful YouTuber and a big one. I mean, you post a video on YouTube, you're now a YouTuber. Nah. I could look at a channel, a new channel that's been up for 3 months. I could tell you if they were going to work or not.
Okay.
You can just see it. You can see the intensity. You have to have tons of intensity to do this because it's like launching a ship. The way that I would describe it to people who were starting channels, when I was getting going, was every single video is like a line in the water to catch a fish. The more lines you have, the more fish you're going to catch, because you never know what video is going to go viral.
Yeah.
And every single video you make, you have to think to yourself that this is the one that could go viral. Do I look good in it? Do I sound good in it? Is this what I want to be known for?
Yeah.
Because if it goes viral, every video you make thereafter must be linked to that video. That's very important.
Okay.
And then he figured out something too, and we're kind of going a little bit further ahead here, but the length of the video was big, and nobody really knew that back then. So he would make these crazy videos counting to 10,000 or reading the B movie. And the thing was, it was such a long video. There were multiple ad rolls on it, and YouTube, the algorithm was, how long can I keep your eyes on my screen? And he figured that out. I don't know if he did it accidentally, or if he kind of knew it as he was building it. But once he did one of those, I mean, one of those videos got like 15 million views. You got like 30 ad rolls on it. I mean, you're making like $400,000 on a video. It's nuts.
Well, those are the type of things that you can only uncover if you put in your 10,000 hours to
That's
figure
exactly
it out.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So I'm about a year in at this point. His channel's taken off. We still talk here and there. There was this one program on YouTube where a larger channel could get smaller channels underneath them and guide them and help them with monetization. So I was underneath him with a few other guys. YouTube disbanded that soon after.
Okay.
So that went away. But anytime I had a question, I would go to him. It became harder and harder to get in touch with him. But so I hit my first year mark. I'm burnt.
Already in a year.
I'm burnt.
Because you did what, 600 something videos? You
650 videos.
Okay.
I had I think like 6,400 views. No, 6,400 subs, and I had about almost 700,000 views.
Wow.
I mean, it was a good year.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination, it was good, but I was exhausted.
Well, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and so I'm talking.
May I ask?
Yeah.
That first year, those number of views, what did that make you monetarily?
3,000.
$3,000. Okay.
I didn't even know I could make money on YouTube. I want everybody to know this.
You weren't even doing it for
I was like 4 or 5 months in, and there was this small YouTuber, Yeah, I don't even think he's around anymore. It was like NYZ Fly Guy or something, but he had said he had made $45 last month. I was like, $45? Like, my channel's bigger than yours. How are you making money? He's like, you just turn on this button. I turned it on. And I had like $780 sitting in an account. I had no idea. Of course, at that point, numbers start going in my head. I'm like, okay, now wait a second. I can make money on this. So I'm a year in, I'm burnt. I'm talking now at this point, I've posted so many videos and I've talked to so many YouTubers. I got a lot of contacts now with some pretty big channels. And I contact a few of them. There were two in particular in Canada. You'd be surprised how many YouTubers are in Canada. You'd also be shocked at how many are here in DFW. Some of the biggest channels are here.
No kidding. Well, I wouldn't be surprised because of just our economy. Like, I understand why so many people are here. But one of my favorites, and I'd give him a shout out just because I like this guy. This guy's name, More Plates, More Dates.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he talks about steroids all the time.
Yes.
And like,
he was on Joe Rogan.
He was on Rogan recently. He's a Canadian guy. That's the only reason I bring it up. But like, he's in my feed every single day. So Derek with More Plates, More Dates, if you hear this, like, you're doing a good job.
Hit us up.
Yeah, hit us. He'll hit us up too. Yeah.
Hey, you should be on Spencer's podcast.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Although I have to get a bigger couch, right? Dude's jacked. Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm pretty big.
You're all right. You're filling out that shirt pretty nice, man.
Thank you. So okay,
where are we?
Okay, so I'm at the end of my first year. I'm burnt. I don't know what I'm going to do. I contact this one YouTuber. I cannot remember his name. I feel so bad about this because I was trying to go back through my videos to find this guy. I don't even know if he's around. Maybe he changed his channel name, but I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I'm thinking about starting a second channel. I don't want to do gameplay anymore. He's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, you've built this up. You're monetized. You have some traction. So don't do that. And so he's like, let me look at your channel. I'll get back to you. And this is great about YouTubers. We'll help each other out.
That's cool though, man. Yeah.
I had a core of about 10 guys. Some of them are big channels too. And so he looked at it. He found my top 10 videos. Like, I can show you. He's like, here are your top 10. Look at them. What do you see? And it was the topic of the video. It had nothing to do with gaming. They were relevant topics or relevant at the time, and they all had traction. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay. He's like, so let me put it to you this way. Either you talk about something that people want to hear, or you post what you enjoy watching. You got to pick one of the two.
Okay, so something you want to hear, or post what you enjoy watching yourself.
Yeah, it's what people are searching for. Like, if I was going to start a YouTube channel right now, which I'm not going to, but if I was,
you may.
What I would do is react to a bigger channel.
Okay.
Because you want to ride their name.
Okay.
Okay. And we can go into that later if you want to. But so mine was, okay, so what do I like to watch? Now I'm 31, 32 at this point. And for whatever reason, we're in 2017. And I'm loving watching these videos of these women like losing their minds.
Okay.
So
like losing their minds, like psychotic.
Well, we call them Karens now.
Karens. Oh yeah, the ones that are freaking out on like a manager, right? Okay.
So I find a bunch of these clips. I'm like, I'm gonna make a compilation video, and I'm gonna call it Feminist Triggered. I'm serious.
What year would this have been?
This was 2000 and I think I wrote it down. Hold on, let me see the date.
Pulling out his notes for anybody that's listening. Hold on.
It was January 9th, 2017, I posted the video.
Okay, so that's not that long ago, 5 years ago.
This was a big step out of my comfort zone because I'm completely switching my content. It's not exactly the most appropriate content because there's cursing in it and stuff. And so I'm just like, I'm going to give it a shot. I love this stuff. So I made a compilation video. I posted it. First day, 5,000 views.
Okay.
First week, 50,000 views.
Whew.
Yeah, it hit 100,000 pretty fast.
And you were like, I was like, something?
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Second video, 144,000
Where were you
views.
getting the content from? Oh, sorry, 144,000 on the second video.
Yeah, I would find them. It was like because I was interested in that content, YouTube was recommending them to me.
It's like here, feeding you.
I can splice videos. I got very good at this, splicing videos. And so I started making compilations.
Okay.
So Feminist Triggered was a series I did, and there was probably 5 or 6 other YouTubers doing it at the time. And so second video, 144,000, third video, 250,000 views. Fourth or fifth video, I got 800,000.
So you just touched on something.
Exploded.
Yeah, you just touched. So was it just the timing? Was it the fact there were a couple other channels that were successful with similar content? Like, what do you think caused it to get traction?
Well, I changed my content to something that people were actually looking for.
Okay, all right. So it's not what you want, right? That's kind of a lesson you've been teaching me too. It's like, well, if I would watch it, right? You said that. Yeah. That's one thing, but what do people want to see?
Right. So we look at your content. So self-funded, stop loss.
Yeah.
What are there? 2,000 people in America that know stop loss? maybe 20,000, maybe
less.
maybe less.
Maybe less.
So you're not going to get a whole lot of traction if
Yeah.
people go on YouTube. Hey man, tell me about stop loss.
Well, see, I think I told you my
Stop
very
loss
first
is a
video
fascinating
was
thing.
like cringy, like you
Yeah.
said. Very bad framing, lighting, sound, you name it. Still the second most watched video I've ever made, and it was on Stop Loss 101. And that was a kind of, for me, that was just within my niche in LinkedIn,
Yes.
where I was releasing it. Like I was like, oh, I caught a a big fish right away. But to your point, there's a ceiling on that style of
There
content,
is.
and I totally got that.
But if you're the first guy doing it,
Yeah.
you may get a lot of traction on the first one, but there's just not a big enough audience.
no,
at
you
any
can
given
see
time
that
going
that
for it.
first video still has the most views. A couple other get a little bit close, and then there's absolutely a trailing off. I did about 25 of that particular subject matter, and I was like, I'm done.
But you
There's
never,
nothing.
I will tell you this, if it's in a playlist,
It
you
is.
never know because
It is.
when your channel starts to grow, eventually YouTube could take that and throw it out there and everybody's watching your video.
Okay,
It,
yeah.
It's amazing.
So you caught fire with this compilation video, Feminist Triggered, and so they were all Feminist Triggered, the series.
Well, for a while. And then I found this clip, a particular clip with Judge Judy.
Okay.
And she was ripping on these girls. And so I put it into one of my compilations and I used her face on the thumbnail and that video just went wild.
And is that where you go,
And that's where I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
love Judge Judy. I actually, I work from home. I
you see during the day, Judge Judy's
Judge
on?
Judy's
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
I know all of her one-liners. But so I'm like, okay, so people like Judge Judy, I'm like, oh, let's do this. Okay, I can make a compilation video. Judge Judy did 1 million views.
golly.
And then I was like, okay, well, let's upload some cases here. So for 2 weeks, nothing but Judge Judy.
Okay.
I mean, I posted a video, 7,000 views in an hour. I mean, it went crazy. And I go to Tammy, my wife, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to make a lot of money. I just want you to know this. 2 weeks in, I wake up, channel's gone. I'm like, what's going on here? This is where I learned about copyright.
Okay.
So I had a copyright takedown. I did not get a strike against my channel. CBS claimed all the videos. I had no idea. I'm like, I found the videos on YouTube. So they were already on there. Like, what do you mean? So, so that's when I contacted MrBeast. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, don't worry about it. They didn't take you down. Just don't upload copyright material. So then I had a software. I don't even know if it's around anymore where I could figure out if something was copywritten or not.
Okay.
You'd be shocked. Okay. And this would ultimately be one of the catalysts to ending my channel later on. So I found other judges that I really like to watch, Judge Joe Brown, Judge Janine Pirro. There's a couple other ones. So I started making compilation videos of them. And this is where I really started gaining traction on YouTube. I became known as the judge guy. But I was still making compilation videos of other things. So Feminist Trigger, within the clips for Feminist Trigger, there were particular guys who nobody really knew about, but they had these clips that were going viral. There was one named Ben Shapiro. Nobody knew who Ben Shapiro was until the YouTubers found him and we started uploading his content. And then he,
Yeah.
and now I have nothing to do with Ben Shapiro's success. I'm
Other
just
than you
saying
got
that
his mug, you got his coffee mug right here.
I got that because I wanted to watch that documentary, What is a Woman?
Oh yeah, Matt Walsh. Yeah.
It's a great documentary.
I want to watch it, but I don't want to subscribe to
Subscribe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like,
No,
let me
it's
just
not.
pay. What? Oh, okay.
Subscribe. They got a bunch of content. I read their articles too.
Okay.
Which are
Well,
great.
we're
They're all
we're
awesome.
deviating us course,
Okay.
but okay, I'll trust you on
So
that.
Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro was one. Jordan Peterson was another. There was
Yeah.
this like clip of him on campus arguing with a bunch of girls.
That put him on the map. I remember
So
that
so
one. Yeah.
we were the ones who did it. There was me and 3 other guys. We uploaded his content, and then Tucker Carlson. That's where he went viral. Was on YouTube. He'd been around in the news for years.
I remember
but
back in the CNN days with his
Yeah,
bow tie.
I
you
know.
Yeah.
he was a Democrat back
Yeah,
then.
he was. Yeah.
And now he's a Republican.
Funny.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Trey Gowdy. Do you know who
Yeah,
Trey Gowdy
he's
was?
got that like crew cut or like a
You can
military
still
cut.
go on my channel and see some of the Trey Gowdy videos. I mean, they have millions of
But
views.
where were you finding the content, picking those people? Like, how did that
I find them in news programs,
Okay.
little obscure videos because, you go down the rabbit hole of YouTube. The difference in my rabbit hole is I can clip the videos and save them and put together compilations. So,
But you were checking for copyright as well.
yeah, those weren't copywritten.
Okay.
So I started doing those. Gavin McInnes was in there. I think he's like this Proud Boy thing now, which
Yeah.
is a joke, but
Yeah.
but he was hilarious. So I had those clips, and then that led me off into Sovereign Citizens. Have you ever watched
don't
a
know.
Sovereign?
I'm not
You've
familiar.
never heard of
No,
Sovereign? I did a lot of those. One of my big series was Failure to Comply. They were videos of people resisting arrest,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they were funny.
Okay.
And I would make them very funny by putting things in. What was another one I would do? I just kept doing that, but I stopped gaming.
Broadly speaking, the compilation videos are what you really
what I was known for.
Okay.
I was really known for the judge videos, and then like every week I would put up a compilation, and my channel took off.
Okay.
I mean, really took off. I was averaging 100 to 200,000 views a day.
A day?
A day.
Good
so
grief.
so even though my channel only reached 150,000 subs, I had 120 million views.
My goodness.
So I was getting
Is that ratio? Is that an extreme
that's
ratio?
abnormal.
Okay.
Because my videos just had a knack of keeping people's eyes on screen.
But why do you think it didn't convert as many subs?
I don't know.
No, I mean, just curiosity.
Well, you can see, you can go into your analytics now and you can see how many people watch your videos that are subscribed and are not.
Okay.
And my ratio was big. It was just like a video, like a guy who doesn't really ever get on YouTube, jumps online, or his friend shares him a video, he watches it,
I see.
done.
I see.
Because my content was more for older people. This is another thing. MrBeast's channel blew up because his content was focused on little people.
That are always online.
And they're always online.
That makes sense.
Very smart.
Okay.
So yeah, I kept on doing that, and the money got big. In 1 year, I mean, I was in six figures.
In 1 year. Okay.
Yeah. Just in
What did Tammy think of all this?
She couldn't believe it.
When in a good way or bad way?
It was stupid.
She's like, that's dumb. Like, was she?
It's just.
But then she was like, well, that's a couple per. You know, I could benefit from this.
We upgraded the house a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, I'm still gaming, but I'm
That's
not
so
doing
funny. Like our wives
videos.
can be like, well, that's silly, but then they'll enjoy the money. They'll enjoy the fruits of the labor.
I mean, I remember there was one particular day on YouTube where I made $1,200. That was crazy to have a video go viral, and it went viral on Facebook. I didn't even know you could share videos to Facebook.
Okay.
It was getting 80,000 views an hour.
On Facebook.
It was this funny video that I made of this woman ordering a sandwich at Subway, which eventually YouTube took down as bullying. I think I tapped out at like 9 million views on that. I had, I think, 70,000 comments on that video.
70,000. But like, what happens if they take it down? They don't claw your money back, do they?
No.
Oh, that you already made. Well, thank
No.
goodness for that.
Now, if you have put up a video and you got a lot of views and you got a lot of traction, like once you get the views, it's like a 45-minute or 45-day delay before you get paid on that video. If somebody claims it in the meantime, they can take that money from you. Yeah.
Well, don't want that. Okay. All right. So then now we're probably inching towards where you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
So now we're in 2018.
Okay.
And towards the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, I'm getting burnt out.
How many videos had you made up to that point? Do you remember? Like
1,700.
1,700 videos. You got.
Well, I have my mentality. Remember, I'm on the insurance grind. I'm making a lot of calls, and I'm running a very successful insurance brokerage at this point too.
Yeah.
So YouTube's taking me 3 to 4 hours a day as well.
So you definitely went the quantity route, and it absolutely worked until you found out what the quality metric was that was going to get hits as well. But so you're doing 3 to 4 hours a day on top of your job, right? And so collectively you're probably spending 10 to 12 hours between the two, or.
And I got kids.
And you got kids
wife.
and family. Yeah. So you when did you go? I don't think I can do this anymore.
Well, it was a combination of a lot of things. Well, you see the success of some YouTubers just skyrocketing. You're like, man, why are they taking off and I'm not? Even though in
my mind, you took off, right? So
yeah, but I'm not at millions of subs.
Yeah.
I had the wind taken out of my sails when YouTube denied my 100,000 subscriber button. I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Which was they started getting more stringent. They didn't
something?
like my content at all. Some of my older videos were taken down for new YouTube terms of service.
Yeah.
I was being punished for videos I had posted 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like I have 1,700 videos here. I cannot monitor them all. At one point, we were penalized for the comments that were being made on our channel.
Silly.
I'll tell you what, you post feminist triggered, failure to comply, sovereign citizen videos, you're going to get some nasty comments.
Yeah.
There may not be directed at me, but there are some really bad comments.
But how would you be possibly expected to police that?
Oh, but we are.
You are?
Yeah,
Okay.
It was stupid. I saw a lot of YouTubers go under. Then there was a lot of infighting within YouTube. There was this whole new trend where in order to grow on YouTube, you attack another channel. And then you create this controversy. A lot of it was fake and set up and to get traction.
Well, what scares me the most is, you talked about some of the people you brought up, right? I've seen public figures talk about they got demonetized on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like their content or the subject matter or their political leanings, right? And then all of a sudden you go, well, if you go all in on YouTube, that is your only source of income.
That's
and
right.
They decide you don't get to do it anymore.
It's why I never stopped doing insurance.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I was fearful of that. Eventually, I did lose my monetization on YouTube.
You did? Okay.
Eventually, but this was towards like the end of 2019.
But it's a bizarre thing to me that you can pass. It's like passing a law and then punishing somebody for something that was not illegal 2 years ago. Like
By the time they really started doing that, though, I was already burnt out.
Okay.
I had hit a wall.
Did you instantaneously shut it down, turn it off, or did you slowly, was it a whimper or a bang where you ended the
Well, I did slow down, and then eventually I hit the wall. It was more of a conviction on my part. I didn't really like the content anymore. I was starting to post things that I didn't even want to watch. I didn't even agree with.
Yeah.
I was just doing it to maintain the momentum.
Uh-huh.
YouTube is about momentum. You stop, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And it comes down to patterns as well. So they love it when you post the same content at the same time, and they will recommend your video. If you do not, I mean, it got to a point where if you didn't post correctly, even if you had 100,000 subs, only 20,000 of your subs would receive the video in their notifications. That's a big problem on YouTube, especially for these channels that are relying on it for their income.
Okay.
And this is what I believe. I can't prove it, but I believe that there's a button on everybody's channel in the background that YouTube can switch to turn your channel off. And I think I got blackballed.
Okay.
And so like I would post a video and it would get no traction. My subs would never see it. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Well, it's you feel so powerless, right? Like
Yes.
ultimately you are subservient to the algorithm, but you're talking about also that there's people that are subjectively deciding whether or not they want to boost your content or allow you to be seen.
So
right?
think about my content.
Yeah.
Feminist Triggered.
Yeah.
Compilations of like failure to comply, sovereign citizen. I also did like courtroom outburst. If you've ever watched a courtroom outburst video of like somebody yelling at a judge or fainting or attacking a defendant, chances are it was my video.
Okay. Well, I probably have seen one of your videos.
So you see how woke now YouTube
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
They hated my content, man.
Okay.
Hated it. Like I would be target number one. I mean, and then Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, Jordan Peterson. I mean, this was all over my channel
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, and those were all like, what would you call those persona non gratas, you know,
Yes.
like, and so, yeah, hence why I don't talk about my political leanings on the podcast most of the time. But I feel excited about the opportunity that YouTube presents, but also fearful of the lack of control. Like,
Yes.
right? So like, when does somebody decide, let's say you get there where I achieve maybe some of the milestones I'd like and get monetized and making money, and then they just decide, nah,
No.
not anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what
And it will happen that fast.
and it'll happen that fast too, but it also, like you said, that's why you never, unless you are a kid that can go all in on this. I'm about to be a 40-year-old man, and I have to pay my mortgage and provide for
That's
my
right.
family. So I would never take that leap of faith. I
Yeah,
think,
so you keep it as a hobby.
Yeah.
And so once I finally started hitting that wall, I started measuring the time that I was spending to make these videos. And at this point, I can make a video in about 45 minutes. And so we're in about like May of 2019. I'd actually just moved in across the street from you.
And, but did I ever tell you that was your house was the first one that brought us to the neighborhood?
Really?
Did I tell you that? No.
I can't believe my house sat there for like 2 or 3 years.
So it was a little too big because we only had one kid at the time, and so it was a little too big for us. And then we look
Was
across
your house
the street.
small?
Well, no, it's not small, but it
Okay.
had one extra bedroom that we didn't feel we needed.
We still don't need it, but go ahead.
More information than you needed to know. But that's your house was the house that got us to go, oh, let's go look at this little prospect. And then we go across the street and go, oh, I think that one's a better fit for us. And
Yeah.
so that's how we ended up becoming neighbors. That's,
I love the
That's
house.
the story. So you just moved in,
Yes.
right? And so you were still at least trickling some videos
Yeah,
out. in
but
2019.
at that point I was pretty much done. I'm looking at like, the time spent. My insurance business is doing great. And 45 minutes a day. I kept saying to myself, 45 minutes a day, 45 minutes. What can I do with 45 minutes a day? And I had this plan to write a book for a really long time. I got an idea for it when I was 18 years old. That's a whole nother podcast.
Okay.
So I was like, why don't I quit wasting all of my creative juices?
And 45 minutes a day ride instead?
Right, because it takes a lot of creativity
It
to
does.
make YouTube videos.
does.
And it's wonderful if you're creative because you can have a lot of fun in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I'm going to focus on the book. And so I spent 45 minutes a day. And by the way, if anybody's listening, 45 minutes a day will change your life. Jordan Peterson has, the way he words it is clean your closet or clean your room.
Clean your room. Yep.
Yeah, do one thing every day. Mine's a little different. Mine's 45 minutes a day. And took me 1 year, wrote a book, published, done.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept the mentality going. So my second book will be published probably within a month.
Nice.
And my third book, I'm on chapter 8.
So you became a writer out
Yes.
of that. And so, but you found a more productive way to channel your
Yes.
creativity, you would say.
Yes.
Very
I
cool.
stopped wasting it on that and I put it into this. But meanwhile, MrBeast blew up.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I think we'll
But
go
we
into.
had fallen apart at that point.
I would say let's maybe make this act 3, right? I know we're going. This is a long one, and I'm
How long have
enjoying
we
it.
been going?
How long have we been going, Weston? Probably hour plus, right?
Hour 7.
Hour 7. Okay, so
wow.
we'll kind of. I told you it's
I
not
didn't
going to be hard
realize I
to do
talk
that.
this much, man.
You do talk a lot.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I
No, that's
apologize.
perfect. That's exactly what I want when somebody
Okay.
sits down with me and not having to pull it out of me. But let's talk a little about Mr. Beast, because I think it is fascinating. You kind of knew him beforehand, where he is today, and then I do want to talk about maybe closing thoughts with you. Is like, what did you learn from the experience? Maybe if you had to do it all over again, or maybe your peace of mind not doing it anymore. I'd love to hear kind of retroactive look at.
Okay, so what do you want to know first?
Let's do a little Mr. Beast. Give me about 8-10 minutes, and we can cut up a Mr. Beast clip. And
like how him and I fell apart.
Yeah, or just like
it wasn't bad.
No, but like what was the you said you guys kind of diverted paths, right?
Yeah.
So what
well,
was
I mean,
it?
his channel took off.
Yeah, and it was
did
he
great.
become so popular and get so much attention that it was difficult for you
No.
to stay in touch, or what?
No, because I had his cell phone, and I could contact him on Twitter. Discord became a big thing, and I never got into Discord. I still don't even understand it today. Old man hands.
Yeah.
But
I did Discord for a hot minute when I thought I was a day trader during the pandemic, and then I realized pretty quickly I wasn't. Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I trusted him whenever he commented on my video that was on Thunderstruck Gaming, the community channel, was when I went to his channel, on the channel art at the top. He had a verse, John 3:16. It was real big. So he had like his logo, MrBeast 6000, and it had John 3:16. And I was like, okay, so he's a Christian kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he wants to help me, I'm gonna take his advice. And so that was kind of a link for us. And so we would talk about the Bible sometimes and Jesus and things like that, which was great. And as he grew, this was very interesting. The verse became smaller and smaller and smaller on his channel art. And I would say something to him every once in a while about it, and it was still there. And then when he hit like 50,000 subs, it was gone. Mm-hmm. So I called him. I was like, hey, man, congratulations on 50,000 subs. I was like, where'd the verse go? And he was like, some kid made the channel art for me. I'll tell him to put it on there. So I look, and it's back on there. And yeah, I mean, you do whatever you want to with your channel. I was just, And
it's just a question at that point, right? I mean,
and then 75,000 subs, it was gone again.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything to him. And so his channel starts taking off, and we're still talking. Anytime I have a question, I contact him, and he'll ask me, check out this video. What do you think? Or he would point out some new YouTubers doing certain things that I should maybe piggyback on. Mm-hmm. Copyright issues. I would contact him. He could get me in touch with people that I couldn't on my own. And then his channel starts to explode. I mean, just explode. And I would send him messages of congratulations every now and then. And eventually one day we had this conversation. And I was like, so how's everything going? I think he was at 1 million subs at this point. He's like, good. And I was like, how's your walk? That's what Christians say. How's your walk? Are you still like reading? Do you pray? I mean, he's like, I don't believe in that stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay. I was like, what happened? He's like, it's just all pie in the sky. Mm-hmm. And I said something to him, and I think maybe this was the end of it. I said, well, it's interesting. I said, because for the last couple of years, all I heard about is how you were praying and begging God to bless my channel, grow. And you finally got it, and then now you deny it. Mm-hmm. And then I said, it's not going to turn out well. And of course, it did turn out so far.
So far, yeah.
But the end's not here yet. And so, I think I became like this recognition of where he used to be to where he is now. Okay. And that kind of brought an end to our relationship.
Well, fair
now,
enough.
I don't know where he is now in his life with his faith, if he does believe or doesn't believe or anything like that.
Yeah, I wonder if that,
but that was
you
our
see that
link.
happen like with Christian artists, right? And then all of a sudden they get sucked up by the machine.
They get big, and then all of a sudden they're not Christian anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, well, so you beg God for success, he gives it to you, and then now you deny God? It's like, how do you think that's going to play?
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. So that was, I think I was a reminder of something for him. Well, if he even remembers it.
Yeah, that's fair enough, right? Like, these guys got 100 million subs, and I'm sure he has everybody in the world that wants a piece of
You
him.
don't forget the people in the beginning, though. I will tell you that, because at least in the beginning, before you were anything, like I know you now, so like when you hit 100,000 subs, I mean, I liked you before you had 100,000 subs.
I'm going to ignore you when I see you across the street getting your mail, Luke. Whatever, around 100,000 subs, baby.
That's right.
So, all right, let's close it up, man, and I appreciate your time, dude. This is fascinating.
This was great.
I hope we get to do it again and do a round 2 and talk the book and stuff like that. But so, what did you learn? Like, give me big picture life
on
lessons
YouTube
of what your experience on YouTube.
Man, it's the same thing I tell my kids. You got to grind.
Yeah.
And when I talk to kids, like I do a life group at church, I'm like, life is a grind, not the video game. You don't grind a video game. You grind life. Mm-hmm. If you want something, just do it. It's beautiful. Have you ever read 1984?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I love 1984. So the way Orwell talks about how the population's divided, you have the proles, The pros are the lower rung, the 85% of people. All they do is they breed, they eat, and they talk about the lottery. That's the majority of people. They have no motivation. They know what they want, but they don't know how to go get it. So you have to be the person that's willing to grind it out. And that's what I was.
Okay.
You know, people would always ask me on YouTube for shout outs. I'd look at their channel. I'm like, you posted 6 videos. I was like, post 60 more and then ask me for a shout out. They won't do it. Everybody wants it given to them. I don't need it given to me. If I see something I want and I know how to do it, I will grind like you know.
Well, that's good, man. That's the.
I do it in work too.
I speak to entrepreneurs all the time. Entrepreneur. That's like what's that? When Tommy Boy they get the laughing gas and they go road limit. Entrepreneur. So anyway, and there's a very consistent theme. It's the willingness to do the work, man.
That's right.
Unsexy consistency is showing up every day and putting everything you have into it. There's no magic formula.
No magic.
I have people occasionally that see my podcasts on LinkedIn and they're like, could you talk to me about how to do that? And I'm like, do I know what I'm doing enough to share? But it's like,
just do it and learn as you go.
Yeah, but everybody wants some magic formula. Yeah. Well, part of it is I get access to this beautiful studio that nobody else in the country has access to.
My friend, like this setup would be like hundreds of thousands of dollars when I started doing YouTube. I mean, this is nuts.
Yeah, and I get to just access it.
You just sit down.
Yeah, so it's pretty sweet. So like that's part of it, right, too? But people want to know what's the secret? And the secret is the same secret that everybody has used is you got to be better at something than other people, or you got to put in more work and be better.
It's not just posting the videos on YouTube, by the way. It's monitoring why they did well and why they didn't.
Yeah.
You have to watch the numbers. So when you post a video on YouTube, you'll see this initial burst and then it will die.
It dies. Yeah.
What you need to see is a second burst and then a level off.
Okay.
And if you're not seeing the level off on the second rung, you're doing something wrong.
Okay.
So your idea is, so when you post, burst, comes down, and then you need to see it go back up and then level.
Yeah.
Because, most people get caught up in how many views you're getting on each individual video. I didn't look at it like that. I looked at my cumulative views in a day. So if I have 1,500 videos getting 20 views a day, I mean, look at how many views I'm getting, right? I didn't focus on that one particular video.
Yeah, it was an aggregation of all those videos. So kind of closing thoughts, lessons learned. What are the downsides? What's is it just the burnout? It's the psychological effect, the mean comments.
You will see the hate of people.
Okay.
Not just directed at you, but just in general. And it will eat away at you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting 3,000 comments a day and you say, well, don't look at your comments. You kind of have to look at your comments because you got to know how your videos are doing, how people are responding. And people are very mean. And there are a lot of people hurting out there. And when you have anonymity and you can say whatever you want to, man, it'll shock you.
I told you about the one video, the reel on Instagram I got that got close to 200,000 views on Instagram. With that's 20 times what I usually get. Yeah. Easy. But it's of my wife and my kids, and it's a very nice video.
Yes.
But there's all sorts of comments about my wife's appearance and dude, would you say that to another human being in person? Absolutely not. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, would you say that to my face with confidence?
Yeah, when I got a glimpse of, this is what happens if you put if you get traction.
You better believe it.
I was like, I actually had that philosophical question. Do I really want this?
Do you really want
Do I really want this? And I don't know, man.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's weird. So, all right, man. Well, we went super long and super fun, and this is exactly what I hope to accomplish with this podcast, man. So I hope you're going to be proud of it when we get to go back.
I'm just
by
thankful.
the way, you're going to do all my editing, and you're going to cut this up and put it on YouTube for me, too.
I'm very thankful to finally be able to tell the story because nobody knows.
That's so cool.
And then when people ask me, it's like, I can't sit down for an hour and tell you everything.
Well, but now you got something to show them.
I'm just going to share your link.
Love it, dude. Well, Luke, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you joining, and thanks for sitting on the orange couch with me.
Thank you.
All right.